Now here's Pastor Charlie with today's bread.
Howdy, and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Today's Bread. Now, have you ever felt like your life was completely off course? Like the winds were against you, the storm kept getting stronger, and you couldn't see a way through? Sometimes God allows us to go through storms, not to destroy us, but to teach us how to trust Him in deeper ways. And today, we're going to see how God protected Paul in the middle of what looked like certain disaster. Now, this week's topic is teaching the gospel at Rome. And today, we're focusing on protected by God. Our scripture reference is Acts chapter 27, verses 13 through 25. Now, after appearing before governors and kings and finally appealing to Caesar, Paul was placed on a ship headed for Rome. Luke and several other companions traveled with him, along with Roman soldiers and other prisoners. But the journey quickly became difficult. Strong winds slowed the ship down, putting them dangerously behind schedule. And that was a serious problem because they were now approaching the season when storms on the Mediterranean Sea become extremely dangerous. By mid-October, traveling those waters was risky, and many sailors lost their lives each year trying to push forward in bad conditions. The ship stopped briefly at a harbor called Fair Havens, and Paul warned the Roman centurion that continuing the voyage would end in disaster. But the centurion, he chose to listen to the ship's pilot instead, hoping they could still somehow stay on schedule. Well, that decision turned costly. Not long after leaving port, the ship was caught in a violent storm. Fierce winds drove them hopelessly across the sea. Day after day, the storm raged until everyone on board finally gave up all hope of ever surviving. But right in the middle of that hopeless situation, God stepped in. An angel appeared to Paul and told him not to be afraid. God assured him that he would make it safely to Rome, and every person traveling with him would survive as well. Now, I want you to think about that for a moment. The storm did not mean God had abandoned them. In fact, God was still fully in control, even while the winds were raging. And that's an important reminder for us today. God sometimes allows challenges, hardships, and yes, even storms into our lives for a reason. Often, He uses adversity to strengthen our faith, build our character, and teach us to trust Him more deeply than ever before. And in the process, He also reveals His power and glory so others can see God through our testimony. So if you're walking through a storm today, don't lose heart. The same God who protected Paul is still watching over His people today. The storm may be real, but so is God's faithfulness. So thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Tuesday's prayer focus for America is for religious leaders and congregations to seek God's wisdom above cultural or political pressure. Now remember, Jesus is coming back soon. And here, yes it is, Tuesday's blessing. I bless you with the power of Jesus Christ producing in you every good thing that is pleasing to Him. May His strength sustain you, His peace guard you, and His presence lead you today. Now may today's bread strengthen your walk with Jesus, who is the bread of life.